Welcome to episode 14 of One Question, where we explore the elephant in the room connected with the work we bring to the world. These are conversations about the misperceptions people have with our work, sometimes from the conversations we have in our own head, what we've been taught, or societal norms. I'm your host, Stephanie McAuliffe, founder of The Way of the Diamond Warrior, an energy alchemist and boundary strategist, and I guide leaders to build a business that's a reflection of their soul's calling. Today, we are joined by Raquel Reis. Raquel is a relationship and dating expert who helps women to stop overfunctioning in love and start being deeply met. She guides single women to genuinely enjoy the dating process and supports partnered women in transforming struggle and distance into intimacy and connection. Raquel is also a contributing author to The Confident You, the Raw Conversations book. And welcome, Raquel. I'm so looking forward to our conversation today.
Me too. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Raquel, tell us a little bit more about the work that you do and what is that elephant in the room, the misperception that you would like to take a bite out of today regarding the important work you bring to the world.
All right. Well, thanks so much. As you were mentioning the word boundaries, I got a little tickled because I was just last week I was teaching my group. So I work with women one-on-one. I also work in 6 months group cohort. I coach single women to meet their life partner in 6 to 12 months and enjoy the dating process. I help partnered women transform any relationship struggles and parts where they feel frustrated or stuck. And all of it is by doing less and enjoying more. That is the work that I do. And when you mentioned boundaries, we were just speaking about, we call it sexy boundaries. Boundaries are sexy. So part of the work is actually knowing our limits, stop the overfunctioning, stop overgiving, stop trying so hard. And we were speaking right before we started. I told you there's so many elephants in the room. But I think the elephant in the room, if we're speaking about overgiving, is that really that idea that we need to be selfless and overgive and that giving is a virtue. I found that so much goodness is created by just being, and learning how to receive and learning how to enjoy. And that we don't need to try harder, if anything, try less, and maybe gain some better tools, more productive perspectives, and deep connection to ourselves. So I guess that is my elephant, that one of my teacher calls it loving more by sacrificing less. The of selfishness and selflessness. I want to turn it on its head a little bit. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, there's the old, masculine paradigm of push and do more so that you can achieve more. And the masculine is about pushing things out, and the feminine is more of receiving. And it's interesting in that when we truly do stop doing more to try to prove our worthiness and who we are, boundaries really are sexy. I call them a superpower because when we respect and honor ourselves, it actually, in a way, ripples out into the world. Rather than having to prove to the outside world, we can just be.
Amen. Amen, sister.
So, what do you find is the biggest struggle or challenge with the women that you work with to shift that paradigm from, because women have been taught to overgive and we get the last bite of the cookie if there's anything left? What's their biggest challenge in really making that shift for themselves?
First of all, it's individual. Everybody
Always.
always, everybody come with their own challenges. I was actually taking a look at what were my biggest challenges as I gave myself a self-assessment. And sometimes it's so surprising, and I can share my challenges. So mine, we deal with so many topics: communication, blocks to intimacy, limiting beliefs. My top growth areas when I started this work was limiting mindset and limiting beliefs. It was about presence, being present in the moment, and self-care and self-worth. So here I was trying so hard, you know, and I actually feel like this is a very universal challenge for the highest achieving, strong, powerful women that are successful, that they make things happen. They've achieved a lot of success through effort, is to take care of themselves, is to put themselves first, is presence, just being.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. Because when I think of my 27 years on Wall Street before I started doing the work that I'm doing now, I was absolutely not present. I was present for the people around me.
Mhm.
I was present for my work and my career.
Mhm.
And yet, me being within myself, it actually took some really big life changes for that to happen. So, with your clients, are many of them coming to you because there's a great satisfaction and they know they need to make a big change, or is it a little subtler than that?
I wish they come to me when it's subtle.
Yes.
It's the best when they sometimes they do. Sometimes they come when it's subtle. I feel like sometimes you need a little fear or desperation.
Or what I
As
call
a
the
motive.
universal two by four.
I like it. Yes. Yeah. And as you were talking about being, I actually wanted to hone in on a very, and if we're talking about, I don't even want to call it a challenge, but a reorientation. So,
Mhm.
what is being? Being in how I work is very specific, because we can say all these words and it can be very poetic, and we don't exactly what it looks like in practicality. So this is actually the journey from the head to your body. So
Mhm.
all of this work is actually stop overthinking, stop trying to solve our life in the mind, and accessing our feelings, trusting our body, accessing a completely different type of wisdom that can be very scary to women who are very analytical, who have experienced um, success and success over adversity. I mean, this was their survival and thriving toolkit in the world. So it can be really scary to trust something softer and easier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I've been thinking about this, and a lot of times my what I write and what I share comes out of my journal. And there's a lot of people who are talking about a quote unquote trust deficit.
Mm.
It's not something new though. I think it's being brought to the surface for us to finally look at how little trust we actually have with ourselves and with others. I'd love to
Mm.
hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, I love that so much. I do. Um, yeah. I mean, can you phrase it in a question, or what would you like to know?
Well, you're talking about, coming from the mind to the body and presence.
Yeah.
And I think we need to have trust within ourselves to actually be present with who we are
Yeah.
and how we are in the world. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So this is the work of feminine energy, that
Hmm.
such a it's kind of the air we breathe. This is the crux of this work, and the way that I like to define it is actually very specific. It's built of two elements, which is softness and strength. And the way that we reorient ourselves in this orientation is we create outer softer and inner strength, where before we had a lot of outer strength and
Mm-hmm.
softness and some shell, but inside a lot of wobbleness, a lot of unclarity about where we end and another person begin, what is our values, what feels safe, what doesn't feel safe. So it's actually having a very strong spine so we can stay very soft and supple on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But it requires trust. It requires safety from within to remain soft, to not go into fight, to not go into pushing. I sometimes call it adrenalizing, white knuckle, for any kind of forcing. So it really, in this orientation, there's an element of surrender, and we can think about it as weak or as being a doormat, but it actually requires an enormous amount of strength not to get into it and let other people figure things out, just like know ourselves enough, and then we can also play. um
You can. And there's nothing weak about boundaries.
oh no.
Nothing at all, because it's not the old image of, like putting a moat around a castle or wearing strong armor.
Mhm.
Boundaries take a lot of courage. It means finding our voice. It means standing up for ourselves. It means speaking up for ourselves. It means not falling into old patterns of, as you said in the beginning, the overgiving, the overpromising, having the last bite of the cookie.
Yeah, and also it takes a lot of strength. One of the practices that I practice, that the women I work with practice, is not going to explanation. If we're looking at like masculine behavior, there's justification and explanation. About, you can simply say, I don't feel comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
That is not aligned with me. I'm not able to do that. It can be the simplest and the least amount of words and drama that it delivered as. This is how the person in front of you also receive it. And if they're pushing boundaries, then it gives you some information. And sometimes they do, especially if you're changing patterns, and or if they have their own anxiety around boundaries. But we basically teach others how to treat us. And yeah.
Yeah, we do. And when we start to make the changes for ourselves, the people around us may not know what to do with us. And yet, to your point, we don't have to defend our choices. Now, it's a little bit different depending on who you're having the conversation with. If it's a partner or a spouse, it's different than a coworker. So there's always nuances. However, no is a one-word answer.
Oh yeah, it's a totally one word answer. You can also make it a 3-word answer. No, thank you.
Yes.
No, but thank you. I actually find that the lighter we hold it, the lighter it's being received. To your question of like people sometimes don't know what to do with it.
Hmm.
Sometimes unbeknownst to us, we bring a lot of heaviness to it. And the more we trust it, the more we believe in it, the more we practice it, it just becomes easier. And it actually becomes a bit of a game where you literally go in the world practicing new skills of relating
Hmm.
and just seeing how the world respond to you. But it's contagious. It prevents drama. You don't get into argument. It just simplifies everything. So it is actually easy, way easier than long explanation and justifications. So that's the good news.
It really is much easier, and it's allowing our psyche to know that it's actually safe to do so.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can work on and train ourselves in and get used to the feeling. It's you're not jumping off a cliff. You might be sticking your toe in the water, and that's okay. It's baby
Yeah.
steps. So you have a loving more by doing less meditation that you are offering to the listeners. So what would you like to tell us about that?
Well, just on the theme of loving more by sacrificing less, by doing less. This is a meditation for women to really rest and relax into themselves and let go of any overdoing and love all the parts of themselves and love their emotions that are part of their guides, all the emotions, and really release any pattern of obligation and feeling like it's such a matter of value. It's shifting from having to prove ourselves to just like relaxing into our inherent worth and just so it really is an invitation to have the world rearrange itself around you.
I love that so much because we've been so accustomed to making sure the world around us is okay.
Mhm.
And I love that shift. So, Raquel, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation and for this beautiful gift you're offering to the listeners.
Oh, that was so much fun. Thank you, Stephanie.